Hello everyone, Jason Burke here, the reconditioning specialist from PSP Borden. We're going to go over today's virtual workshop. The focus is on injury prevention and balance training. Let's get started. Hope you enjoy. For the table of contents, we'll go over general considerations, introduction to balance training, a few questions and statistics, concepts in progressing your exercises, and then we'll get into the exercises. Let's get started. Today we'll go over balance exercises and how to perform these balance exercises from home. When beginning any balance training or these type of exercises, be sure to position yourself close enough to reach something stable should you need it. For the balance exercises and training that I will guide you through, try to keep your eyes focused on one spot or perhaps on the wall directly in front of you. This should help you maintain the position. I will let you know if and when there are any specific instructions regarding where you should be looking, such as closing your eyes to increase difficulty later in the training and progressions. An uneven surface may be any of the following: a pillow, cushion, stability pad, balance board, BOSU ball. I'm not sure what you have available at home, but using a variety of equipment is another great way to progress your balance training. Using an unstable surface trains your body to react to unpredictable movements and uneven ground, and can be a great progression to the exercise I will demonstrate throughout this workshop. As we begin the workshop, I recommend beginning with the first progression for each exercise I go through. If balance is not lost for the recommended duration, for example, you can use 3 sets of 30 seconds per side. Progress to the next exercise. If balance is lost, remain with this exercise until the chosen sets and reps are possible without losing your balance. Once an exercise is well controlled, it may be progressed. I will provide details on the expectations of what is meant by controlled for each exercise and progression to help you improve and know when to choose the next progression. Goldilocks principle: choosing the right progression that suits you best. The exercise shouldn't be so easy that you can hold the position forever, and too hard where you can't maintain the position at all. You want to find the progression that is just right, where you can maintain your balance, but you are challenged by the exercise. After the workshop, when you incorporate this type of training into your routine, keep this principle in mind. Ensure to breathe continuously and avoid holding your breath at any time. Try to breathe using your diaphragm throughout the session. What I mean by this is breathing deeply but keeping your core engaged. Breathe into your stomach and try not to take shallow breaths. For each exercise, proper posture is the priority. Exercises should be completed without compromising quality of movement caused by excessive muscle fatigue, and the exercise should not cause any or increase any pain. Focus on maintaining a neutral position of the spine during all exercises, no matter what movements are performed by the upper and lower limbs. The red, yellow, green light principle. Red light is something you should avoid. If any movement or position causes pain, you should speak to a healthcare professional. Further, your physiotherapist, medical officer, or healthcare professional may recommend avoiding certain movements or starting with only certain exercises at the beginning of your training. Speak with your healthcare professional if any concerns arise. Yellow light is proceed with caution if you choose a progression which is perhaps challenging at the beginning. And green light, you should have control of the movement with no compensation, and you are good to progress, as we alluded to earlier. Balance is our sense of positioning and movement, knowing where your body is in space. Balance teaches you to control the position of your joints. Balance exercises help you control the position of your joints and improve your ability to make adjustments to maintain your balance. With consistent practice, you can improve your balance over time. Your body has sensors all over and are constantly communicating, sending information on changes throughout your body, such as changes in muscle tension, or when your skin is stretched, or any pressure changes. Sending the correct information quickly helps your body make adjustments, and as a result, you maintain your balance. Having good balance can help us with planning of movement, improve sports performance, and ultimately decrease likelihood of injury. Balance is important if you're running and walking, changing from different surfaces, or running and dribbling a basketball. Your body is able to quickly adapt to changes and allow you to continue playing your sport or activity without putting much thought into the changes around you. Good balance has an implication for both everyday life and for sport. Developing power, maintaining good joint position and control may allow improved skills and accuracy. However, having poor muscle and joint control may lead to a possible injury. The ability to express higher levels of neuromuscular control while improving our physical condition is the goal of functional exercise, and this will help improve your performance. I will now go over a few questions and stats, and I'll give you approximately 10 seconds to think about each of the answers. Which body part is most at risk of an injury? Leg, back, or arm? Lower extremity injuries account for most injuries in the Canadian Armed Forces. Which physical activity produces the most injuries in the Canadian Armed Forces? Running, rucksack marching, hockey, or soccer? Running produces the most injuries in the Canadian Armed Forces. There are a number of strategies to decrease the likelihood of injury, including the information we just went over. We will be focusing on one strategy, neuromuscular balance sports-related training, which has shown to reduce injuries after 6 to 12 months of training by between 47 to 82%. Injuries can be reduced using neuromuscular balance sports-related training involving 15 to 20 minutes of specific exercises aimed at, number 1, increasing awareness and control of the knees and ankles during standing, running, cutting, jumping, and landing. Number 2, following a program that incorporates this type of training or exercises reduced injury rates after only 4 to 6 weeks of training. Programs of 6 to 12 months duration reduce injury rates by much more. Today's workshop, we will provide a few great ideas and exercises that can be incorporated into your warm-up, training, or your current routine. There are many ways to adjust the difficulty of your training and various exercises you choose. I intend to touch on a few concepts to help you adjust your exercise choices. And implementing these concepts should assist in appropriately matching exercises to your individual training needs or current fitness level or ability. First off, the number one concern is performing the exercises correctly and with optimal posture. Once this is achieved, you can look at options to help you progress the movement. On the other hand, if maintaining proper posture or executing proper exercise technique is too challenging for the particular exercise, you may look at a regression option to optimize your training and have the exercises both safe and effective. This exercise focuses on your ability and control while in a single leg stance. The goal is to stay steady without losing your balance. For example, without reaching an arm or leg to touch a supportive surface. Your goal is to be able to hold the position without any compensation or asymmetry. Any excessive upper body movement is considered compensation. Stand in a single leg stance, maintain balance and keep the pelvis stable or level with the ground. Pelvis and core must maintain stability and alignment. This position is considered well controlled if you can hold all of the following progressions. Knee up to 90, foot out to the side, foot forward, and foot behind you. The goal of this exercise is to maintain balance while on one knee. Position your knee on something which is both stable and has a soft surface, such as a bed or couch. While on one knee, maintain balance and keep the pelvis stable while holding the free limb in a variety of positions. The goal is to maintain good posture and balance while moving in a split stance. Lunge is a component of deceleration and direction change. Try holding the bottom position for 2 seconds with your knees approximately 2 inches off the ground. Begin standing with good posture and maintain a neutral spine throughout the movement. Reach one leg back far enough so that your knees will be close to 90 degrees at the bottom position of the lunge. Both feet can be flat on the ground prior to the initial movement. Toes should be pointed directly forward for the front foot, and the heel should not turn on the other foot, so that both feet remain parallel to one another through the movement. Changing the base of support can do a number of things for you. A more narrow base of support may increase exercise difficulty, increase core activation, and involve greater proprioception. One great example includes the inline lunge, where both feet are positioned on the same line, versus a traditional lunge where feet may position hip-width apart. This narrowing of the base may increase the difficulty. More movement control is essential with the narrow base. Narrow stance requires stability and continuous dynamic control of the pelvis and core. A split stance challenges mobility, stability of the hips, knee, ankle, and foot. Recommended opposite arm. The body naturally moves in this fashion to counterbalance during movement. We've already touched on the idea, which increases instability of a movement, changing the base of support. Another way to create instability includes the surface you choose. A stable surface such as flat ground versus an unstable surface, which may include an exercise mat, cushion, disc, BOSU, balance board, or beam, all of which alter the balance requirement and thus may change the difficulty of a specific exercise. Here we've already provided an example of a simple or maybe not so simple balancing or standing on one leg. Doing so on various surfaces can create a plethora of variety of this balance exercise. The concept can be applied to other exercises included in this virtual workshop. The goal of this exercise is to perform without losing balance while moving. This progression requires proper mobility, stability, posture, and balance. Stand in a single leg stance. Reach the free leg to the front as far as possible with knees appropriately aligned. Keep your joints maintained in alignment. Hip, knee, and ankle joints make a straight line to the ground. Direct your knee towards the second toe and maintain side of toe during the knee bending. Don't let your knee go past the end of your toes. Touch down briefly with the tip of the foot, or just hover to make it easier. Do not bear weight on the foot reaching forward. Then reverse direction to return to the starting position. Rest briefly without bearing weight. Repeat, reach to the side and rear to complete one repetition of each exercise. The goal is to perform the following exercises on a single solid line on the floor, which is only a few inches thick and approximately 2 meters in length, or a stable beam, if available, such as a 2x4 wood board, steadily without losing your balance. For example, for this, you can perform 5 sets of 30 seconds repetitions and 30 seconds of rest between your trials. This exercise consists of maintaining good balance on a line or beam while doing different static and dynamic exercises. You may begin with walking. Second progression is a tandem position where you're walking heel to toe. Walking sideways on the beam. Crossing over or crossover walking on the beam. Standing sideways on the beam in a static stance. Up on your toes in the same position, or a single leg option, again up on your toes. And the last idea, standing forwards or along the beam, same idea, one leg on your toes. We've already focused on creating good balance on one leg or one knee. Let's look at different movements while on one leg. The single leg deadlift. The goal is to maintain good posture, object using a hip hinge standing on one leg. Begin standing with good posture, avoid rotating your pelvis or shoulders, and try to keep your pelvis and shoulders level with the ground. Keep a slight bend in the support leg, and reach the other leg behind you to initiate the movement. The goal is to maintain a neutral spine while performing movements from a quadruped position or on all fours. Start in a quadruped position, hands should be placed directly under your shoulder, so your wrist, elbow, and shoulder make a straight line to the ground, and so that each joint is stacked one directly above the other. Your elbow pitch should point forward, your eyes should look down at your hands or slightly in front on the ground to help achieve a neutral spine. Place your knees directly into your hips in a similar fashion, with knees directly below the hip joint. There should be some space between your knees on the ground, approximately 2 fist distance apart. Flex your toes towards your shin so that your toes connect to the ground, with your heel pointing directly upward. Grip the ground with your fingertips. Keep even pressure through your hands. Press into the ground with opposite hand, knee, and toe to initiate the movement. This involves pelvic core and shoulder stability, neuromuscular coordination, and a great starting point for any crawling patterns. The goal is to maintain good posture and a neutral spine while holding the top of a push-up position. Start in a prone position facing the ground. In the top phase of a push-up, hands should be placed directly under your shoulders so your wrist, elbow, and shoulder make a straight line to the ground, and so that each joint is stacked one directly above the other. Your elbow pitch should point forward, your eyes should look down at your hands or slightly in front on the ground to help maintain a neutral spine. The balance point will be either your knees or toes. Pull your hands towards your toes without your hands actually moving on the ground to create tension in your body and squeeze your glutes. Grip the ground with your fingertips and keep even pressure through your hands. Press into the ground to hold the top starting position before beginning the exercise. The goal is to maintain a neutral spine without rotating the pelvis or shoulders while supporting yourself on one side. Position your body so that from the side view, your ear, shoulder, hip, and knee make a straight line to ensure a neutral spine. From the front view, your chin, chest, and zipper line should also make a straight line. Going from a traditional base, such as 2 feet or both hands and feet, and change to a single leg or single arm exercise is a great way to alter your base of support. Some examples include a single leg squat or lunge versus a traditional squat. Altering the base of support is a great way to change the difficulty. begin to utilize these concepts in your own training, PSP Fitness staff is available to help you with any training progressions or regressions you may need to choose the optimal exercise to add to your training regime. Please continue to follow our other national PSP virtual workshops, and happy training, everyone. We'll see you next time.